Damn.
When the night is over, my life is over, 'cause I start thinking again about our time together. When the night is over, my life is over, 'cause I start thinking again about our time together.
Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? Hope we're doing fantastic this evening. Let me know if game audio is quiet, loud, and anything. I'm not too sure what's going on the left-hand side. I've not really got an idea on how to fix that. But yes, welcome to, I could say, our ACM Japanese Jiffy mini-series. And our first one today is round number 1 here at the lovely circuit at Brands Hatch. So, yeah. Exciting qualifying session kicking off right now as we've got Michael, car number 819, prepping his lap and some cars in the background as well, losing their back end a little bit, trying to get the tyres into the right temperature but struggling to do so. So we'll see how that unfolds and just see how it goes all in a nutshell, really. Music is intense. I mean, you know, you gotta love pretzel music, you know. Unfortunately, you know, you gotta keep it copyright free if that's how YouTube want to have it, and Twitch and all that other platform services. So we're going to try and keep it platform kind of friendly, and that's what copyright music is. I know it's not the best, but it is what it is. But let's go on board then with car number 88 somewhere on my screen, and it is indeed Ron making his way down to turn number 1 now, and that back end is not looking happy whatsoever, looking very snappy, but making it through, keeping a lap valid still, heading down to turns number 2 now, then towards 3, and the car looking very much quite a bit of a handful to play, heading through Cooper now, then towards turn number 4, get as much on the apexes on the left hand side, and then try and open up wide just a little bit, not too much like Ron has done there, and the lap, I believe, has invalidated, but I could be wrong, so I'll keep on board with him for now and see what kind of pace he is running here at Brands with already 12 minutes and 35 seconds to go. So qualifying is running out quicker than never before. But yeah, and hello Gamer Extreme, how are you doing, buddy? Welcome on in. Everything sounds great. That's great to hear. So as long as I'm not overpowering the game audio, then we'll have some cracking racing and some lovely GT3 cars to listen to. But as you say, as I say as well, known as the Japanese Jiffy version of how a GT3 car should sound. And I'll tell you that the Nissan sounds absolutely superb. As Ron does cross the line and gets the time on the board, it's a 1 minute 25.977, but out of nowhere, the Honda of 343 Ryan puts it on pole with a smashing lap time of a 1 minute 23.595, and then more lap times getting on the board right now, all in the 1 minute 24s. And the only closest driver, or only 2 close drivers at the moment, about 7 tenths to 8 tenths away, someone else now getting involved with position of P2, also 7 tenths away, is going to be Eric at caliber 240, but no one able to challenge for pole at the moment. Of course, these are the first couple of laps. They're going to get used to the car, used to the tyre temps, all that kind of stuff. So we'll have a few minutes of waiting to see who will really put the best lap in qualifying with 11 minutes to go. But fight for pole position, Joshua, car number 25, already proving the doubts of wrong here. Only a 77 thousandths of a second away from a provisional P1. So you could say smashing lap from Ryan there, as he looks to be on another lap, and at the moment is getting impeded a little bit by the Nissan ahead. But is the Nissan also on a flying lap as they round the final corner now? Ryan around about 3 tenths up, going to improve on his pole position time. And does he improve? He does. It's a 1 minute 23.302 now as he pulls over to the right hand side to return to the garage nicely and safely off track. What can everybody else do? And we've got a big improvements happening, especially for car number 63, making their way into turn number 2, I believe, and then towards turn 3. I'm not familiar with Brands Hatch myself, so I will try my absolute best to figure out where we are going on track, and we're just making our way to turn 4 now. So on board then with 63, running, I believe that's a lovely Valkyrie livery. And if these teammates or Valkyrie drivers are playing together, then the Nissan is getting a lovely toe from his fellow accompanied driver ahead of them, which will benefit them in the straights. Not so much in the corners, because he will be affected by dirty air, but they're currently on a mega push-up at the moment of 9/10 of a second. And as I say that, the commentator's curse has already struck in qualifying, and they lose the car on exit, clipping the grass just a little bit, and they do, unfortunately, RTG to the garage. But it seems the commentator's curse is back, and as lovely as always. On board then with 92 in that lovely sounding Lexus, making their way towards, I believe that was turn 7, and now at turn 8. And they're making their way down to turn 9, known as Clearways and Clark Curve. Absolutely phenomenal corner at Brands. Lovely final corner towards the start and finish. Where do they go? The hefty improvement of 7/10, they go P7, and it's a 1:24.205. So at the moment, anybody else on big improvements at the bottom of the grid? We've got Richard making their way through the final corner now. Car number 35 towards the start and finish. Where are they going to see themselves on the timing pages? They go to 15. Not bad there from Richard. 1:25.472. So pretty much a good improvement there. Gamer Extreme was on a decent push up and has come to the line to finish a lap of a 1:25.977 as he has a massive moment out of turn number, I believe that was 2, and off the grass he goes, and that is a complete invalidation right there. Hopefully he'll politely move out of the way of the cars behind as he does so, and gets out of the way pretty quickly. Right then, anybody else having mega improvements? Ryan's still chilling, as we can see, comfortably on that pole position at the moment, but someone who is absolutely flying right now is Luca into turn number 2, and they're currently already 2/10 up on their provisional lap time, so they're in the benchmark at the moment for pole position, for the fight for pole, but can they keep it on track? Very close to track limits there, out of turn 3, now at turn 4. Rotation on the car, very nicely there. They are in the benchmark to a steel pole, but as they head into sector 2, I believe we're in now. I've got to love these double right-handers here at Branzo. Absolutely phenomenal stuff, and they're making their way through turns 5 and 6, which we just passed, which is Westfield Bend. Then heading towards Dingledale Corner. Well, we've gone past that already, you could say. We're now at turn 8. Headed towards turn 8. And, like I say, towards Clearways, Clark Curve for the penultimate final corner. Turn number 9. Get the car in to the apex. Get a wide berth for an exit. Then tuck in to the right-hand side, I believe it is. And they go to... Never mind, I thought they'd be in pole, but they aren't in benchmark and pole. They lost time on exit out the penultimate corner, and they're 43,000 of a second away from that pole. So the fight for pole is definitely on between Luca and Ryan, unless Ryan can find lap time and try and improve themselves up the grid order. Or board then with Zach Webb at car number 13, halfway through their lap, you could say. Probably down on their delta, as they throw their Honda into the double right-handers. Excuse me there. I had a bit of a sneeze, but we are back. I didn't want to sneeze live on the stream in case I did deafen your eardrums, so luckily I did mute. Well, hopefully I did mute, but we'll see what happens if anybody says anything in the chat, but I believe we muted just in nick of time. Right, Zach Webb, 3/10 up on their lap time right now, heading towards turn number 9, the top corner, back end there, sliding, but they're going to put themselves hopefully higher up the grid order. They're hoping for a top 10 today, and they go P11, 1.3 off. They were complaining that the Honda wasn't the best pick for them and they made the wrong car choice, but so far in qualifying, we've run about 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Zach Webb in P11, looking to get a little bit more confident in the Honda. So we'll see how Zach Webb gets on. Hoping for a top 10, looking very promising at this moment of time. Right then, back down on board of car 888. Don't know what happened there, my words just didn't want a word, and completely off track and into the barriers, holding the brakes, and that is their lap completely ruined, and going to be quite a bit of damage on the car. Right then, on board a Ron, double 88, across the line, probably P15, where they're going to go up the grid order as they now start their lap time. So, I thought they were finishing a lap. Not too sure if they did, because my ACC control was a bit here, there, everywhere, but we'll keep on board a Ron for now, see how they get on, and I must say, I'm absolutely loving that livery. There's no Y in the name. My apologies. Is it Vincent? I'm not the best with names, so I will try my best. Is it Valkyra? Is that close enough? I didn't pronounce the Y, so that's got to be a little bit better. Fingers crossed. But yeah, Ron, not having a great first sector. He needs to find a lot more time if they want to try and see themselves up the grid order just a little bit more. But they seem to be, I wouldn't say struggling necessarily. It could be an indication that tyre temps just ain't in the window. But I have had some reports that that Nissan can be a pain to drive. So if Ron puts in a stellar lap here, that is full on commitment and mega stuff there. As Ron is about to cross the line, unfortunately it won't be a position up the order, but he does get knocked down to P16, 1.6 off the pace, but there is a 1 minute 24.927 of a improvement. But the main question is, on board then with Ryan, heading back to the top of the field now, as we've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go of a lovely spicy qualifying session here, and Ryan is already 2/10 up. They are really starting to push and find a lot of pace in that Honda right now, and that pink livery could be saying all the odds, because they are absolutely flying. Right then, heading to the double right-handers of turn 5, and then up towards turn number 6, known as Westfield Bend, and then very, very shortly heading towards, I believe that's turn 7 and turn number 8, known as the, is it the Sterling's Bend? Something like that. So hopefully it is. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. And oh, you can see they're really pushing the car. You can hear the tire squeal in the background. Absolutely full commitment out in towards turn number 9 now. Hug the inside as much as you can. Get a wide berth for an exit. Hug the right hand side as much as you can. And then where they're going to go. And they don't improve. They do not improve on their time for pole, because it seems they invalidated somewhere. And that could have been at turn 7 and turn 8 because he heard the tyre squeal. So that is quite unfortunate there for Ryan, having another massive moment there. 1 minute and 4 seconds to go. That is Ryan done for qualifying. And see how Luca gets on. Car number 21 making their way to turn 5 and then towards turn 6. I get you now, Vincent. Gotcha, gotcha. Like I say, I'll try my best to pronounce the name, but I'm not the best for names, so like I say, I'll try the best as I can. But yeah, I got no idea where I got the Y from, so like I say, apologies on my behalf for that one. And Luca finding no improvement whatsoever, so unfortunately that does mean he will be starting P2 on the grid alongside Ryan, which could be a spicy first lap. And same with Joshua, not finding any improvement whatsoever. Go on board then. Oh, I was going to say with Bram, who just found themselves in the barrier out of turn number 8 towards turn 9. So let's have a look at the timing pages. We've got someone on a little bit of a lap right now, and it is Sky. And they're currently around about 20 thousandths of a second up right now, so not much of an improvement, but it's still an improvement if you find a little bit more time. And the big thing is, if they keep this lap going, P9 and P10 have done the exact same lap time of a 1 minute 24.205. So I don't think Sky's feeling a lot of confidence in that Nissan, because they're driving it very, very carefully, as they're currently 3/10 down. So that will be them with a P10 start. And Kevin, or Kelvin, I think it is, my apologies on that one, will be started P14. They went up on their lap time by quite a bit, I will say. And Oliver crosses the line now and goes at P21 of a 1 minute 25.960. But I've seen a lot of 25s at the bottom of the grid, mid-pack, a lot in the 24s, and then you could say from P7, P8 upwards, all in the 23. So that is qualifying done and dusted, and that was actually quite a lot of fun. I'd say a lot of action and a lot of spice. So we'll see how this race goes on and cracks on in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So we're going to click drive, so we have to see that, you know, that really awkward menu, whatever you call it. I'm not too sure what you call it. Let's get things sorted. Go to TV cam 2, and yeah, we're seeing some cars levitated right now, which is, in my opinion, it can be quite funny sometimes seeing the cars levitated. Yeah, there we go. Cars starting to get in all positions, and nice and firmly on the ground. All four wheels have hit contact. That's unfortunate, Nicolay. Right, chat, I am back. Apologies on my behalf for that one, if you heard a FaceTime audio going on in the background. Just a few things going on in the background that I'm currently, you know, trying to multitask with. So, yeah. Anyways then, formation lap is about to begin here at Brands with a 1 hour race. Who are we going to see? Are we going to see Ryan take a very comfortable win? Potentially, because he did look pretty quick in qualifying, made a few errors on his final lap, but was 2 to 3 tenths up, which could be an exciting end to the race, or it could be a nice cruise, set sail. Ryan is in the distance and Ryan is gone. It could be something like that. You just never know these days. And of course, you got Luca starting from P2 alongside Ryan at the start of this race. Was looking quite competitive himself, but I don't think he has the same race pace as Ryan can hold in some sort of way. So it could all be qualifying pace. You know, Ryan could be absolutely blitz in qualifying and good on a lap one pace race kind of thing, or quali pace shall I say, and then in his race pace it could be absolutely dreadful. You just don't know what you're playing with material wise. So we'll see how Luca gets on. And then an unexpected person in P3, Daniel. Saw him make a few errors in qualifying, I believe, and I didn't see much of what he had potential here for his qualifying laps and his practice. So you've got Daniel, you've got Joshua, you've got Bram, you've got Eric, you know, likes of Jan, 63, and all these cars in the mix in the top 10. And I've got no idea what their race pace could be like. I know Zach Webb, earlier having a chat with him, he wasn't much fan of the Honda, and he wasn't expected to be in the top 10, but he managed to get himself into the top 10, which is great to see. So good job there from Zach Webb in the top 10 like he wanted. But can he hold the top 10 as the race goes on? You just don't know what the race pace is like. So we're going to see how this goes and what happens, and it should be hopefully quite exciting to watch. Hope. We hope, we hope, we hope, we hope, we hope. So we head to the front of the field. Let's go to the front of the field. And a better camera angle, please. Give us a better camera angle. And now we went for the 5 green lights to get us underway for some lovely racing. And it should be any moment now, any second. And it's green flag racing here at Brands. It's a very good start for Ryan, as predicted. Down into turn 1, you've got one of the cars on the inside, the Nissans, trying to compete with Luca. And the Nissan could get the position done. Into turn number 2 we go, and that's Daniel throwing up into P2, and then the ones behind of Joshua gets himself up into P3, making some very decent overtakes and good starts. And unfortunately not a good start for Luca whatsoever, going completely backwards, as you could say, instead of forwards. Not ideal, but it does happen. But let's head down now for an hour of racing to see if they can make their way up the grid back to where they were. And Ryan, surprisingly, already trying to run away, and the gap is already breaking out to almost 1 second. So Ryan showing some good pace, you could say, in the Honda earlier on. But let's not get our hopes up just yet, because anything could happen as this race goes on and on and on. We have got yellow flags already. That's car 24 spinning around and back into the garage. So it could be some hefty damage on their behalf. Are we able to take a look and see what happened with car number 24 whilst everything has calmed down just a little bit? And we have got contact, but I can't show the replay, so that is unfortunate there. So there's not much I can do on my behalf, but unfortunate. And someone has also got a drive-through, which I did not realise, and they are serving their drive-through as we speak. And 225 now has found themselves in the barriers, heading towards the final corner at turn number 9. Definitely not ideal there. Quite unfortunate there from Marco himself. But back to the top of the field. And P1 is gone. P1 is checked out. It was 2 point something seconds. We're now down to 1.6. I mean, a slight error, but they are just cruising and cruising away as time goes on. You've got Joshua behind in P3, 1.2 away from his fellow driver Daniel, and he's got a bit of competition behind, because I'm not gonna lie, Luca seems absolutely furious as we've got a move in the background. That's Bram defending and trying to find the way up and stay in P5, but there's side-by-side action now. Bram against Eric for P number 5, and you know, Bram trying to do a bit of defending and defend his P number 5 spot for now. But with all this commotion going on, this is allowing the likes of Luca and the top 4 to kind of run away, because the gap to Luca and Bram is already 2.3 seconds. So that gap is really starting to open up now, and that help out all the other drivers who are trying to get overtakes done as the race goes on. But what is happening as we go backwards and backwards and backwards? We've had a few position loss all over the place, So we'll try and keep an eye on what happens with all these drivers. We've got a fight now. P number 14 against, I believe that's P number 13 into turn number 1. The Lexus of Tom trying to look to that inside line, which wasn't confident enough on the brakes, or couldn't really go for the move. Wasn't really close enough, you could say. So they stay behind now in P number 14 and live to fight another day. I am seeing, unfortunately there, Zach Webb into the pit lane earlier on in this race session, which definitely isn't ideal. P number 24. And they started P number 10 in the start of this race. So I'm not sure if they got an unfortunate drive-through or if they had some sort of contact somewhere on track. You just don't know. So, like I say, quite unfortunate there, but he's P24. He's still got 55 minutes remaining, so the fight is not over just yet. They've got a few more racing laps to go and quite a bit of time to go to make themselves up the grid order. On board with Eric, who's looking very, very spacey in that Nissan, down into turn number 1. And then obviously towards turn 2. For some reason, I'm getting a bit confused with track numbers. I keep saying this is turn 1, this is turn 2, so my apologies on that behalf. This is now turn 3, and then we make our way to turn 4 very, very shortly. And we did say Eric was looking a bit punchy, and they seem to have calmed down just a little bit. Probably trying to not be too aggressive on the first few opening laps, and just try to calm down, chill out, and go for the move when it's necessary. And we could see a cheeky move actually happen any moment now, because Eric is looking very confident and getting ever so closer in sector 2, probably now in sector 3, heading towards turn number 8. So we are indeed known as Sterling Bend. So they get a good exit here out of turn 9. They could benefit from a really decent tow. I don't think it's going to happen. They're just too far back to go for any kind of late lunge. And Luca having the same kind of problem right now. They look quick at the corners, but in a straight, they aren't gaining enough at all. So we've got to find a lot more time in the corners or wait for mistakes like that, which I'm going to be honest, Joshua does not want to be making mistakes like that, because it's going to shape a move for Luca up the inside, but it's just nowhere. No grip, no traction possibly. Tyres probably still trying to get warmed up and in the optimal range. But Luca, just for now, in P4, has a tasty P3 right ahead of them. We're just waiting for, you know, Joshua to make another mistake like they did just a moment ago, going off track. Probably going to be a track limit warning. Probably another one there as well, but I could be wrong. But Luca putting as much pressure. Then obviously Joshua has to defend, go offline, make a mistake, and that could be Luca possibly through and up into P number 3. On board with 456 then, down in P19 at the moment. All these drivers just putting a amount of pressure on each and every one of the cars, and there we go then. 456 was looking for a move where you don't always see moves happen there into turn 8. Now we go. I thought they were going to go side by side there, but that would have been a little bit messy if they both went side by side, but both slightly going off track, going offline, but more from the car ahead of Extreme, trying to now defend from the car behind. And a lovely drift there from car number 456. A big shout out. That was a lovely back end drift. We'd love to see that. Down into turn 1, where are they going to go on the brakes? 456 a little bit early than expected, but trying to go for the switchback and going to go down the inside, and they are going to try to go down the inside, and that was very, very close to contact, but Game Extreme going a bit too deep there and going a little bit offline. 456 could have a move around the outside here. Slight contact and still be even more contact, and there's no way through. Game Extreme doing some very aggressive defending, and keeping that provisional P18 just for now, but we have got 5-second time penalties on the board from 18, 19 and 20, so that's definitely not ideal. So a lot of work for them to do. If they make a move and get it done, they then got to realise they've got to build a 5-second gap in between that as well. So definitely not ideal, but it happens. And Zach Webb, unfortunately, in the barriers, spinning around, and will be dropping down the grid. Furthermore, that could be them done for the race. Hopefully not. You know, the mentality we hear at ACM is, if you crash, keep on going. You could benefit from a few more extra positions, because, you know, you never know, someone could spin ahead of you. So just get to the end of the race and then see how your performance went on from there. Right then, back up the field we go. Not much action happening at the moment. And I say that, we've got a position here. Vincent said in the chat that he was struggling with the car, and I thought he was on for a move there down to turn 2, but just couldn't get as late on the brakes as they wanted to, because they're not feeling confident at the moment. Not feeling confident. So probably not an ideal thing. You probably want to try and be confident on the brakes as much as you can, because now Vincent isn't confident. That's now compromised. Well, I say it compromised, as I saw the Lexus quite close behind, but they made a bit of a mistake as well themselves into turn number 4, and then their exit out of turn number 4 was pretty rubbish, so they didn't get that momentum, if you know what I mean. Right then, on board with 77, gonna get up into P10, make themselves known, if you know what I mean, known as possible, and into turn 9, literally on the gearbox of that Nissan, and going off track a little bit as well, so that's going to compromise their exit, and that could open the door, maybe open the door for the Nissan on the inside now, down into turn 1, and that Lexus is definitely not going to make the corner. It does make the corner, but the Nissan has the inside line now. Is he going to make the mistake side by side, the pair of them, nice and clean, and Ron up into P11, and the Lexus backing out of that one. So good stuff there from the Lexus, and that could now benefit the Lexus getting up into P10, maybe up into turn 4 we go, up the hill, hugs to the left hand side, gets a decent exit, and they're up into P10. So one overtake in one corner, the next in another. So phenomenal stuff there from Ron. Right then, on board of Bram, it looks like these Nissans have finally woken up and come alive here. Bram, as I say that, and that's Bram off and into the barriers and into the gravel of turn number 8. Big damage probably going to be on that Nissan, trying to hopefully regain themselves back on track safely, and that could be them in the pits for a few minutes. And they are going to make their way back into the pits. Unfortunately, they're from Bram. Just a bit too excited on the power, a little bit too early, and that's unlocked the door and opened the door. And unfortunately, it opened the door too much, and they went straight into the barrier. On board with Jan, number 14, P7 right now, trying to fight for P6 down into the first couple of corners we can see here. And while he's trying to fight for P6, we have got a back marker ahead of 303. I hope this back marker does politely scooch on by, and I say that, and oh, there's more contact, and the back marker now getting involved in damage, and that is not what you want to see. Unfortunate from Sky, just misjudged where the back marker was going. The back marker, I believe, moved slightly back on track or something, and Sky just had nowhere to go, and just a bit of contact. We could see if we got that on replay, shall we? 3. Was it this contact? Oh, well, here we go. So we're looking back at the contact between 225, and yeah, you just don't know where the back marker was going to go. No idea where it was going to go. We can play it one more time. The back marker coming back on track. The Sky just keeping his line. Yeah, the back marker just... I don't know why the back marker's turned to the left so much. Yeah, So unfortunately there for Sky, but still got 46 minutes to go. So recovery process can still work and still happen. However, how much damage has that put them behind? As we see Ron having a bit of a defense here, there and everywhere, and really feeling the pressure now on the Lexus, trying to keep it in on the outside, and does have to go off track. A little bit of bargy contact going on all sort of parts of the field and on the racetrack, but Ron's still keeping it in top 10. We'd love to see, and they almost losing the car, clipping onto the grass, but keeping it alive, which is good. We need to be on a better camera angle. There we go, that's better. Right there, Joshua is behind Eric, so I believe Eric has made a move somewhere on track, and they see themselves ahead of the car they were finally trying to get past. But what is the tow like? Is it aggressive? Is it much? We could actually go on board with Eric, on board the wing cam, and see how he gets on to the first couple of corners, and we'll go on board with someone else. Right. So Eric feeling the pressure maybe a little bit on Joshua in this part of the circuit, or this part of the track, shall I say. But on board with Ron, who seems to have regained their confidence. But that Lexus behind must be really feeling the pressure. Not feeling the... You could say pressure. Pressure in the way of they're frustrated and they're trying to keep their blood pressure lower and not get erratic on track, because they still haven't found a way past that Nissan. So that Lexus is going to be really frustrated. But for Ron, excellent defending, finding their confidence again, which is what we love to see. He's happy, everyone's happy. There we go. Pit stops though are happening, and P number, what was it, 14 now dropping down to 15, 819 is in the pits. Michael in the pits now, and I'm sure they'll be back on track very shortly. Fingers crossed. These are all the cars you could say mid-pack right now, having a bit of a spicy battle, but they're now all just following each other into the first couple of corners. Saying that though, Ron is looking quite close here. He's been closer than he's been closer before. We see a move happen here, or a switch. Was it a free-for-all? Happens here then. If Ron gets a good exit here, which he has, it's a phenomenal exit as well. Gonna look to the inside line. It could take P number 9. He's looking, he's making the move stick, and that was a lovely move out of turn 1 towards turn 2. And I thought P10 was going to come back there, but they don't. The Lexus though trying to get a fight on now and trying to get a move up the grid order and try and get past these two Nissans. He's been stuck behind them for quite a few minutes now, so his frustration is going to be real. Joshua is still stuck behind Eric. You know, Eric finally squeezing on through up into P4 and probably trying to hunt down P number 3, but P3 looking quite quick at the moment. And it will be because that's Luca. Luca is hot on the gearbox. And letting his prey, you could say, the next position they need, letting them know that they need to look in their mirrors because they have got those full lights completely on and they are coming for that position of P2. But Ryan has checked out. He is 10 seconds up the road. He is gone. He has left the building. The only thing stopping him is back markers. If back markers get in the way and cause problems, that could just help out P2 and P3 get ever so closer to make this race a bit more spicy. Number 77. I'm glad they didn't go for that move because it would have been a little bit messy if they did, and a little bit hairy. But they're trying to think of where to go and where they need to go, because this is the car that's getting really frustrated by both the Nissans. Just can't squeeze on through safely and get a move up into P10. Heading towards turn 1 and turn 2. Ram still staying in P23. To be honest though, Sky... Oh, actually, hang on a minute. We're having a little bit of a fight there with the two Nissans I just missed. We weren't having a fight at all, but there is a fight going on for P16 and P15, and that's Extreme into the barriers completely. Bit of an odd incident there, to be honest. Not too sure what on earth happened there. But, that was Extreme into the barriers. And, yeah, more damage on the car. Unfortunately there for him. 5 seconds have been added to them as well. I'm guessing that was for earlier on in the race. And that Lexus could make a move now. Up to P10 against the Nissan. And finally, after waiting so long, 39 minutes on the clock, gets up into finally what is P10. The Lexus has now got to close down a 3.4 second gap to the next car ahead for P9. Their race is on now. Their race has finally woken up and struck. As they say, it's about damn time. It's about damn time that they found pace, finally. And, yeah, so they're up into P number 10. And they've got to close down a 3 second gap. So we'll see how that goes. However, P2 and 3. It's a hit and miss at the moment. They're kind of catching P1 and then they aren't. P1 is only being slowed down by the back markers at the moment. We've gone on board with Brian. Self there. In P1. Just vibing right now, having a great time. Having probably the best time of his life here at Brands. Absolutely flying. It's just the same drivers getting closer and closer each lap. The gaps are starting to quiet down just a little bit as well. Ah, more gaps are starting to happen. There's lots and lots of drivers into the pit lane now. Extreme's car looking a lot better. More cleaner, more nicer. Right then. Dennis. Dennis. Dennis in P18 right now. 10-second time penalty to their name. I also believe a mandatory pit stop is not required, but if you don't box, you've got to build a 10-second gap to the car behind you. And so far, he would be finishing P20. P21. Never say never. Graham starting to close in. And the Lexus, 92. That'd be Luca. No, it isn't Luca. Never mind. Because Luca's up in P2. Actually, has gotten past Daniel for P2. Yellow flags as well. That's 116 off the track. Probably hit the barrier somewhere. Probably clipping the grass as well. They have unfortunately returned to garage. It's going to be a long, hefty wait time in the pit lane. On board of Richard. We also have a Richard fan in the chat. Welcome on in. And they're fighting for what is P number 11. Four tenths away at the moment. 6 tenths are now. But they're making some sort of progress up the grid order. Oh yeah, in other words, not bad. Not bad. Oh my goodness, what has happened here? Richard is going very slowly. I think he went off track somewhere. I completely missed that. Trying to also multitask something else. I do apologise. Chat. Oh my goodness, what a save! What a save there from Daniel. Oh, coming out of turn 1 and managing to avoid and save the car. Good stuff there from Daniel. Big scary moment, but kept the car going in the right direction. Oh yeah. Big shout out to Daniel. That even may be a great picture to get. A great cinematic, as they say. And we've got some side-by-side action. Tom, trying to get the move done around the outside. Heading towards turn 9. They've got a car's nose ahead and they're nowhere near ahead anymore, and they do go not off track, almost off track. Almost clipping the grass, or the gravel shall I say. If I say grass I might get done for that. But I'll just make it clear, it was gravel, not grass. Well, some parts are gravel, some parts are grass. There you go, job done. Boom. Boom shakalaka, as they say. Probably should say that, but yeah. It is what it is. More yellow flags in the background, and I say more yellow flags. 116 in the pit lane. Not too sure what they are doing. They're just chilling there. So Bit unsure, bit uncertain. Oh, I'm pressing wrong buttons once again. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I need to get it together. Yeah, that's Tom. It's a P16 now. Next car ahead of them as they drift through turn 7, I believe. And then towards turn 8. And drifted a bit too much, and that's opened the door once again, and that's now going to be Dennis back up into P16. He'll be very happy and delighted with that one. On board then, 77, P10 at the moment. Trying to get the move done, hopefully, at some point. For P9. Very punchy there indeed. What else is happening? Nothing much really. It's all getting a bit quiet now. Getting a bit quiet. Gap's starting to open up and feed on in. How can we hop on board? Joshua as usual. Adam P5. 29 minutes to go. And mine make that P5 is I believe that was. Oh, who that was? I don't know. Apologies, he never made an overtake. He just went off track, unfortunately. Having a big mistake. And in doing so, lost quite a bit of time to the car ahead of them. They ran out a couple of tenths because they're now 1.1 behind. But yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. So just got to get the head down again and try and compete for P4 if they want to try and put more pressure on Eric ahead of them. There. Seemingly Daniel may be struggling with their rears, or just tyres in general, as brands can be a tyre track killer of a circuit, because they're starting to drop off a little bit from Luca, who's now trying to open that gap up a little bit, and it is proving to, in some sort of way, work, which is a good thing for Luca, but a bad thing for Daniel in this position. Ryan as well, making their way through the pack, getting through the back markers, but I'm now seeing gap is now 7.7, so unless the Nissan of Luca has got some really unexpected and phenomenal pace, then he could make this race interesting. 7.5 now, so we'll just see as it goes on. Ryan's got quite a bit of traffic to get themselves through. He's got fighting positions happening up ahead of him, with, I believe, that's going to be the one as Tom moves out of the way, and the next car ahead of them would be Dennis, who needs to slightly move out of the way when they can to let the leader through, because the leader could lose a lot of time here if Dennis doesn't realise they are being blue flagged. Is slowing down, letting the leader pass down into turn 2. The inside for the Honda, and never know. You never know. The Lexus of Tom could have snuck through there and got the move done, but decided to not go for a crazy dive bomb, so they're stuck behind the Nissan of Dennis for another racing lap. Oh, we've had more chaos and more drama going on, because Daniel has now lost time to P2. 1.5 gone out the window. Lucas checked out because Lucas is starting to push quite hefty. And I thought there was a car stopped on track for a moment there. And there is a car stopped on track. That is going to be car number... I ain't got a clue because it's not appearing on my race control. So, at this moment in time, Luca is 6.5 away. Does have traffic that is currently fighting for positions. So we'll see down to turn 2 what's going to happen here, if they're going to politely swing out of the way or whatnot, because Luca's got a very good exit. He is flashing to let them know he is here, so he wants to get a move on as quickly as possible. 25 minutes remaining in this race. So what's going to happen? Because all that time he's made up, it's going to be undone. Someone going very, very wide off track there. And, okay, Lucas now getting through the traffic. He's got through the first car. What about the second car? And I believe that's going to be Dennis once again. And it is going to be Dennis. So Dennis, anytime now, hopefully will swing out the way and get through. But Dennis has not let the leader through just yet. So the leader's going to have to wait. Not the leader. P2 is going to have to wait just a little bit longer. And there you go. P2 has been let through. I just don't think my brain is braining today, chat. It ain't switched on. To be fair, I have had a busy day as well. Oh. Buttons again, I shouldn't be pressing. But it's okay, chat. It's okay. We're sometimes cooking, sometimes not cooking, but... A-game. A-game, 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 as I say. Right. What else is happening? Kelly. We haven't been on Kelly at all this race. P12 at the moment. Stunning livery as well. Gotta love it. Trying to get in the mix for a spicy P11 finish. Could be more. You never know. And they are fighting against Vincent. Vincent came in our chat and said he was struggling with the car and how hard it is driving, etc. But to be honest, P11 or P12, whatever to place Vincent finishes in, is not a bad result at the end of the day. It is quite decent. You should be proud of what is achieved. So there you go. There you go. So, Kelly in the Nissan. It's quite weird seeing Kelly driving Nissan. Normally they're in the Ferrari, but hey, if it's going to be a Japanese Jiffy mini series, we got to do it with branded cars. That makes sense. So it just all goes and clicks together. So some gaps are starting to close down just a little bit, which is quite exciting. So it means we get a little bit more content and crazy battles happening in this session of racing, because 92, yeah, they're there in the background trying to fight Dennis for P15, but then you also have I believe that's Bram down at P17 trying to get in the mix as well, but ain't able to put as much pressure. And 92 isn't really scaring Dennis. Dennis has been quite calm, quite collected, just been chilling really, and holding off their position for P15. Yeah, we've got some spicy battles going on. It's going to be down at the back of the grid, and see who comes out on top. And oh my goodness, I was very, very close to contact there for 92, almost going into the back end of Dennis for P15. And there we go. 92 finally getting ahead of Dennis in that Nissan. And the gap ahead of them next for P14 is 7.5, so... Yeah. Yeah, so... I don't think they'll be able to close down that gap at all. But the biggest loser out of this fight at the moment is going to be Dennis with that 10-second time penalty. They'll be dropping down to P17, and that'll be it. That'll be it, P17. But hang on a minute, Luca's... Not Luca. I don't know why I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused because 92's name is similar to Luca, kind of. Not really, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean. But yeah, we saw Dennis trying to make a move, and it didn't really pay out. But oh my goodness, what has happened? 456 is off, and dropping down to P17 has allowed Kelly to get closer to 48. 48 has received a 5-second time penalty, so that's Kelly already up into P11. But happen, blue flags in the background, someone going for a move, it's all going on, it's chaos left, right and centre. P15 fighting for P14, so I said that gap not being closed down whatsoever, but it has been of that incident a few seconds or moments ago, and that's allowed more spicy action. We've got cars literally fighting to the checkered flag, because P1 Brian in a league of their own, 8.1 away from P2, and P2 is around about 2.4 away from P3, and P3 to P4 is 7.3 seconds. So they're all chilling in the top three and running away. Kelly still not able to get past that Nissan yet for P11, but they've still got 19 minutes on the clock. Unless Kelly is just cruising and waiting for the right time to pounce, they're kind of running out of time, so they want to try and get a move on as quickly as possible with 18 minutes remaining on the clock. Now as I say that, there's a mistake there. There's Kelly down into turn 2 up the inside. Are they going to get the move done? There are no's ahead and there are full cars width ahead, and that's Kelly up into P11, and unfortunately Vincent dropping down to P12. But that was some lovely, clean, side-by-side racing action. And Kelly up into P11. And they've got 5.6 to the next car ahead for P10. They are quick. Very, very quick. But I'm not too sure of their knowledge on the Nissan. So I don't see them closing the gap down to P10. But you never know. You could have a race penalty after the race is done if someone has reported someone to the steward. So head down, crack on. And 5.6 to close. That was a lovely move there for Kelly. So good stuff there for them two there. Right then, back on board with this spicy battle from P17, and 456 having another sketchy, hairy moment and almost losing the car there. And that has lost him quite a bit of time. Meanwhile, Bram, P16 against Dennis in P15. These two really been fighting it hard on track tonight. I say hard, I mean they've been fighting very, very hard. Now, car number 14 as well. Jan is in the barriers and have found themselves in the barriers. That's going to be a few more positions that people can go up into, and that could be the likes of Kelly into P10 now. And here goes Bram down to turn 2. That was very close to contact there, Dennis. When they want to have that door closed, they will have that door closed. But here goes Bram up the inside once again on Dennis. Dennis trying to keep themselves in this battle, and Dennis, that was very, very close to contact there. Dennis is given no inch of room whatsoever. But it's clean racing room, just to clarify. That's lovely stuff there. What else is happening on the grids? Nosy. Oh, it's Vincent! It's Vincent off and into the gravel, the dirt. And definitely not ideal. P11 for Vincent though, so P11 finish, if it finishes this way for themselves. 5-second time penalty though. I think they've got this. They've got us in the bag. More action happening on track. Dennis versus I believe that's 92. Is it 92? No, it's Bram. My apologies. Having a fight with Bram. This is some lovely stuff we're getting here. Absolutely phenomenal. Let me see 456 get back into P16. Because I'll tell you what, Dennis is starting to lose ground, and lose ground fast. There we go. It seems that 456 has woken up now and is ready to fight. Ready to go on the attack for the last 14 minutes. We're going to see a late crazy dive bomb. No, we're not at all. Into turn 1 we go. Towards turn 2. Nothing spicy dicey is happening. However, Dennis has lost touch with Bram at the moment, so his tyres could be dead. 1.6 is the gap to the next car ahead, so he's definitely losing quite a bit of time. Probably not saved the tyres enough, and that's good save in the background for Tom there in the Lexus. Yeah. Go. If 456 gets a good exit, it could happen. It could happen. Here we go. Because here we are. Oh, down to turn 1. Still not close enough at the moment. At all. And I say that Dennis has made a huge mistake. And 456 was not expecting Dennis to make a mistake like that. And Dennis could go deep on the brakes here. Doesn't, but someone behind does. I think it was Tom going a bit deep, but it was Tom going a bit deep there. And they lost even more time now. Even more time loss from that. Oh my gosh. Right, top of the field, nothing really happening, just Jill drives and Kelly having a great race in P10. Really closing the gap down to P9 though. 11 minutes to go on the clock, and they've closed down 2.1 seconds, now 1.9, so they are really throwing the car left, right and center like mad to try and find, hopefully, some more time in that car. But yeah, it's going to be a spicy last couple of laps for Kelly. But when I say a few spicy laps, I mean very, very good laps. As long as Kelly is nice and calm on the throttle, input and output, then they should be fine. So we'll just wait and see what happens. How far, Kelly, now? 1.9. They're getting closer. Here we go. Kelly is letting someone through, and I believe they are being lapped. That's unfortunate. There's also a little bit of time. That was P2, but they aren't far off P9 now. Ram again for the last 8 minutes to go is right on the gearbox here of 92. They're trying to look for a move somewhere or somewhat on track, but it isn't possible at the moment. But they are really trying to throw the car left, right and centre and do what they can. While we close down into the last few minutes, we do have Kelly right on the gearbox here of P9. They've done a tremendous. Was not expecting them to close down the gap to P9, but they've done it with such great commitment on power and throttle and corner exits and just good driving, you could say, at the end of the day. And they are right on the gearbox of the Nissan of 186, who is going to be Nicolay. I think it's how you say her name, fingers crossed, hopefully. And Kelly needs to let P3 through at some point. They'll be giving the flash. So Kelly here will move out of the way and let P3 through. But this could play to the hands of Kelly if they get a good exit. Because you know what, P3 could just put 186 off, or 186 would go offline, and then Kelly could just sneak up through the inside. You just never know. See what happens here. We'll go on board with 186, go on board with a wing cam to see if they let through the lap car, and they do. They lift off the throttle, as you could hear there, so that's them letting P3 through, as they are the blue flag. Silly me. Now get my words mixed around, you could say. Alright, what's happening here? They're starting to calm down just a little bit now. Richard, though, they're finding a little bit more time, and they've got Vincent ahead of them. Vincent, unfortunately, having a 5-second time penalty still. And, Richard needs to let... Is that Eric through? That is Eric being let through. We'll get through these lap cars as quickly as possible. Here goes Kelly. And it's turn 1. And still can't get up into P9. 5 minutes on the clock remain. These are probably the last 5 minutes you want to lock in, focus up, and put in your best most lap. Right then, Kelly still unable to get through. Richard trying to get through on Vincent. And Bram trying to get through on 92. So, a few positions happening left, right, centre. And 456 has had a moment on track. And that could allow Dennis to get through. But Dennis, unfortunately, goes off track to avoid being collected by 456's spin. Right, here we go. Bram gets a decent exit, but not decent enough. The Lexus having no trouble whatsoever to get a good exit. Final few minutes countdown now. Our biggest eye is Kelly. Can Kelly get the move done for P9 after they closed down such a phenomenal gap? Go back to that in just a second, because Dennis is going through at turn 1 down to turn 2, and there's a whole car ahead for P16. And 456 will not be happy with that one. Dennis found a way through, and 456 is demoted down to P17 for now. But on board with Kelly. P2 really closing down to P1 as well. Not far away from Ryan. Ryan could just be backing off to save fuel or anything. But with 3 minutes to remain, I think Ryan's got this win in the bag. Right then, Kelly, out of turn 9. Early on the power as he possibly can be, but they are being blue flagged, which does mean they need to politely swing out of the way. Oh, no, never mind. They aren't being blue flagged because there is a blue flag car that just gone past. So my apologies for getting that confusion. But all the kerfuffle started to close down and make its way to an end. Bram still unable to get as close as they would like to. Down to turn 1. Are they going to go for the hefty lunge or get a good exit? They just can't find that grip and power. The tyres have definitely got to say that. Lexus goes off track. Bram's still stuck behind. Kelly will keep on pushing to the end. They could be resisting and staying back and wait for the right lap to strike and catch the 186 unexpectedly napping somewhere on track. So we'll see what Kelly's got planned, or it could be a provisional P10 finish at the moment if they can't find a way up into P9. So let's see. A minute and 45 seconds remain. Is Kelly going to be able to find a way through into P number 9? We are about to find out, as this should be the penultimate lap of the race. Penultimate? Something like that. No, not a penultimate. I get myself confused now, but the second to last lap. is what I was trying to say. May I confuse you guys and also confuse myself. So it's off to a good evening this is. And Kelly just doesn't seem to have a tire grip just yet, but Bram down to turn 2. Starting to get close now. Where's the leader? The leader is making their way through and up towards turn 7 and turn 8. So this will be their last lap. One more lap to go. Can anyone get a spicy move done? Kelly trying to put all that push and power now into this second to last lap. And it really isn't working for them at the moment. Oh, and that's the back mark around and spinning. And that's them off into the grass, I think it was they were still spinning into. Right, turn 9. What's Kelly's lap gonna be like? But that's good. It's good. It's good for Kelly. They got a good exit. Which way are they gonna go? They're gonna go to that side. Go towards the inside of turn 1. Late on the brakes. Is it gonna happen for Kelly? Trying to put the Nissan under pressure, and unfortunately that could have been Kelly's moment to try and get a move, but wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough, but Kelly's still going to try and come back here. Into turn 3 we go. I think it's settled, but I could be wrong. You don't doubt Kelly until the last couple of corners, or the penultimate corner, shall I say. But the leader should be on the last lap, and they are on the final lap for themselves. Ryan has truly been dominant. No mistakes whatsoever. Absolutely vibing and chilling. Kelly looking for a move somewhere on track. We're going to go aboard with Ryan though. Rounding the final corner here at Brands. What a lovely show they've put on today. And they will win round number 1 at Brands. Dominant victory, dominant performance from Ryan. Luca will come home and finish in P2, and then Daniel will finish in P3. Eric getting home in a comfortable P number 4, and then as well for Joshua finishing up in P5. Good result from them today from where they started on the grid. 77 finishing P6 in that lovely sounding Lexus, I must say so myself. And going on board with Kelly quickly, unable to get the move done for P9, but finishes in P10, so that's a good result for Kelly at the end of the day. But 77 finishing P6. Guy having that collision with that back marker, coming home in P7 ain't bad whatsoever as well. So good performance from Sky as well today. And then you do have the wonderful Ron making their way through turn number 6 towards turn 7, then turn 8 very shortly to round off P number 8. We have got someone else in the barriers, and that is going to be car number 18 trying to rejoin safely. And I must say that was very intense indeed. There was a lot of carnage, a lot of chaos, but we love to see it. P number 19 and 15, whatever that was, crossing the line. P, yeah, something like that. 17 I think it was, crossing the line. 19 and 20 getting across the line, and that's everyone done and dusted for this evening at Brands Hatch. But that was very fun. That was very fun, chat. Very fun indeed. So on that note, we are going to end it up there for this evening. So as always, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure commentating this, qualifying with spicy and dicey, you could say. My words were a bit all over the place, I'm going to be honest. They were here, there and everywhere, so a bit chaotic, a bit carnage, but at the end of the day it is what it is, and it does happen. But nevertheless, it's been fantastic. If you want to find more information about us at acmracing.com, check out the website or Discord. Discord is down below in the description alongside our Twitch. Go and check that out. And if you want to come and join our races that we host here at ACM, check out the sim grid down below as well. Right then, that's me done and dusted for the evening. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys at some point. Not sure when, but be at some point. But for me, take care. And it's me, Mr. Flinnarooney, signing out. Bye-bye.